So ever since Agony of a Witch and Young Blood Old Souls, the Titan has become far more intriguing. We always knew that everything that happens in the show occurs on the decomposing corpse of the Titan. But the history of the Titan is still a mystery to us, as well as the Titan's connection to Belos. We did, however, get some backstory from the unauthorized history of the Boiling Isles. In Young Blood Old Souls, King says the Boiling Isles was born of the flesh and bones of a fallen Titan. This original magic was so potent, all life on the Isles evolved to wield magic too. For years we explored those powers freely, until a mysterious witch who appeared declared that he and he alone could speak to the island. He said that we were using magic all wrong. His teachings took hold, his strength grew, and he became Emperor Belos. Belos said that mixing magic was wrong, that only he had that right, so he created the Coven system, and there our knowledge was restricted and our potential sealed away. Those who resist are called wild witches, and they face harsh punishment. Emperor Belos has since retreated into his castle. There are whispers that say he's planning something big. In addition to King's narration, we also have a page shown that gives us a bit more on the Titan. The Boiling Isles, named after the raging hot water of the boiling sea, are composed of the bones of a fallen Titan. Throughout the ages, other monumental bones have been sighted in the boiling seas, raising the possibility that many such creatures stalked the demon realm in eons past. But as yet, the Titan of the Boiling Isles remains the only complete skeleton known. Where did the Titans come from? How did they perish? I hope one day we can uncover these mysteries. On another page, we learn more on Belos. Before he ascended to the throne, Emperor Belos gained prominence as a crusader for unity during the Savage Ages. He believes that chaos comes from the wild something, bring peace by controlling such magic in his Coven system. He rules by fear and an iron fist, and his past remains largely unknown. Nevertheless, the Savage Ages caused such devastation that many people have proved willing to follow him. So we got this sliver of backstory on Belos's and the Titan's connection. But Belos claims that he is a messenger for the Titan, wanting a portal to the human world to carry out whatever plan the Titan has. However, towards the end of Young Blood Old Souls, after Luz and the others escape, Belos says that the Titan has ordered him to let them escape and spare their lives, but leave Ida in her monstrous form to show the dangers of wild magic. Although we had no indication that Belos had spoken to the Titan at all, so this could simply be Belos covering up his failure to petrify Ida and the others. But this got me thinking, is the Titan actually capable of communicating with others? Belos could very well be talking to the Titan despite us as the viewer not seeing any evidence of it. But is there anyone else that the Titan could or already has spoken to? And I feel like Luz is a definite possibility. Where we haven't seen any evidence of Belos talking to the Titan outside of his claims, we may have already seen Luz communicate with the Titan in Adventures in the Elements. When looking to learn a new spell, Ida brings Luz to the Knee, the most magical place on the Isles where witches practice their wild magic. Throughout the entire episode, Ida encourages Luz to listen to the island. Some of the methods are admittedly a bit odd, such as tasting all the different types of snow and identifying different types of moss by smell, but Ida does seem to have a point when telling Luz to focus on listening to what the island is trying to tell her. Now, in retrospect, the wording of "listen to what the island is trying to tell you" has much more significance now. Originally, I thought this was just Ida being Ida. But now that we know the Titan may actually have the ability to communicate from Belos's claims, Ida may have been being literal. It isn't until Luz is trapped in Amity's barrier that she actually takes the time to sit, focus, and listen to the island. And when she does so, she discovers glyphs are found throughout the Isles, and that magic itself is a gift from the island. Now, this scene was big because it was Luz learning her second spell and also how she would learn spells in the future. But after the airing of Agony of a Witch and Young Blood Old Souls, this scene gained even more importance as it could possibly indicate that Luz has the ability to communicate with the Titan. So what does this mean for Luz, Belos, and the plot of the series? If Luz can really talk to, or at the very least listen to, the Titan, this could undermine what Belos is working towards. Again, Belos's claims that he can communicate with the Titan have been questionable. But assuming Belos' claims are true, it doesn't make sense that the Titan would be instructing him to get a portal to the human world and work towards the Day of Unity, while also showing Luz the glyphs which seem to be associated with the ways of wild magic, which is frowned upon by Belos. Unless the Titan has an even more complicated plan in mind and actively trying to pit Belos and Luz against each other, I feel like Belos is lying about his connection to the Titan while Luz is unaware of hers. Though Luz has yet to have any possible form of communication with the Titans since Adventures in the Elements, I feel like this could come back later at some point, especially since the knee and the ruins there could still be explored further. Before the show first aired, MSN released an article of the various locations that will be visited, one of which being the Witch Arena, a gathering place located on the most mysterious part of the Boiling Isles, the Knee. Set within the ruins of a castle, groups will meet here for rituals and social functions. Also, knowing what we know now, the Knee definitely seems like a location we'll want to circle back to since witches developed their wild magic here. Add in the fact that this is where Luz seemingly listened to the Titan, we could very well be coming here again. But why would the Titan want to communicate with Luz anyway? It could be that Luz is the way to stop Belos. If Belos is going around pushing his agenda in the name of the Titan, chances are the Titan isn't thrilled about that. I mean, I would be pretty pissed if I was an ancient entity whose corpse served as the land people lived on and then some rando came around using my name to start suppressing people. But this is where Luz comes in. Since witches now harness their magic from their bile sacs, glyphs have become irrelevant. Even when Ida said she was researching her books in wild magic, she never brought up the use of glyphs. So these are either long forgotten to the point of not being in books or removed from books entirely per Belos' orders. I mean, we have an unauthorized history of the Boiling Isles, so it's not crazy to think that there's an authorized history of the Boiling Isles out there and other books that withhold information. But Luz is likely not the first to discover these glyphs. We know from the Intruder that Ida is aware that there was another way that witches performed magic before relying solely on a bile sac, though she didn't know specifically how, meaning that glyphs were discovered and known at one point in time, but their usage dwindled over time. By showing Luz the glyphs of the Isles, the Titan will have opened the door for her to discover more and build a repertoire of spells and abilities. We've seen in just the second half of Season 1 and only having 4 spells at her disposal how much Luz has improved with her skills. From the first day in fighting the Greater Basilisk to Youngblood Old Souls and taking out a bunch of the Emperor's Coven and even cracking Belos' mask. So clearly the glyphs are serving Luz well, and we know that she'll discover even more in the future. Now the interesting thing to note is that Belos, similar to Luz, does not perform magic the way we have seen other witches do, though there are still some differences. Belos does not draw circles to perform magic nor use glyphs, at least not that we have seen so far. His staff is also different from other staffs. Not having a palisman, this implies that Belos also has an alternative way of performing magic. While I have said that Belos could be lying about hearing the Titan, it's also possible Belos was in a position similar to Luz and was shown an alternative way of performing magic, though Belos may have misused this opportunity and started down the path we see outlined in the unauthorized history of the Boiling Isles. Either way, I find the concept of Luz and Belos facing off against each other interesting. If Belos is lying and only saying he hears the Titan to push his own agenda, Luz can actually bring the truth to light as someone who actually hears the Titan. Or both Belos and Luz can hear the Titan and the two will duke it out, showing the parallels of both characters. This would also be fun development for Luz, first in doing the unthinkable and learning magic as a human, and then being able to talk to the Titan, who is the closest thing the people of the Boiling Isles has to a god. With the amount the Titan was mentioned in the final 2 episodes of Season 1, we'll definitely be diving more into the history of the Titan, the Isles, and by extension, Belos, but also Luz's possible connection as well. Whether the Titan will be an ally, an antagonist, or a neutral party, I eagerly await to find out more. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time guys, take care.